Welcome, Jaco.
Thanks.
We're so
so
looking
much.
forward to having a conversation with you about your journey in this partnership between Mercury and AutoX Business.
No, thanks so much for having me. Looking forward.
So, for the benefit of our audience, if you could just share with us, what is your role in the AutoX Business?
Sure, 100%. So Jaco Weideman, a business manager of Rentec, and we're the renewable energy department of the AutoX group, or AutoX umbrella, better known as the Willard and the Saybat brands. And we're responsible for assisting customers with renewable energy and bringing stability into the energy sector at the end of the day.
Sure, that's a big mission statement.
It is. It's hard work. It's non-stop, and it's almost turning believers into people. You know, there's a stigma around renewable energy that, you know, can it actually subsidize what Eskom is providing? But financially, yes, we've proven it, and it's basically, like you said, our mission statement, what we're heading to do.
So when we first met, which was about a year ago, we had just started embarking on a journey with AutoX. With the group as a whole, in an effort to try and help the sales teams become more impactful in the market and to capitalize on the already large share that AutoX has of the battery and renewable energy sectors. So please share with us, how has the journey been for you and your team thus far?
Fantastic. If I can sum it up, we spoke a bit earlier about it, it's just, from our side, we hit a dead end. And it has a lot to do with the market. Load shedding played a massive factor, and sales were happening by itself, and the guys started to farm in that sense. So, for us, it was tapping into a new market, coming with a new sales pitch or a proposal at the end of the day, which is cost saving. And we literally, we had to start afresh almost. And I think that's where Mercury played an absolute crucial role, is just to bring calmness, first of all, and then start the process from the root all the way through, and just, bringing a different viewpoint for us at the end of the day. And I think that calmness is really playing still a factor today as we go into the market, and as the sales team go out there and hunt for work. They've got the confidence, and they've got the calmness and the stability, and they've got a plan, which is absolutely crucial. So fantastic what we've received thus far. Yeah.
So you mentioned that it was tough for you at the beginning when we started. So what were some of the challenges your business unit was facing at that time?
At that stage, definitely the mind change and the perspective of the market. For a sales guy to get orders every month, there is load shedding, there is external factors that's bringing in the sales, to now sitting at your desk and waiting for the phone to ring, and actually now having to go out there and address a new market, address a new method to the public out there, commercial, public, residential, whatever the case is. And that was the biggest challenge, is how do I've been doing this for the past 5 years successfully. All of a sudden it's a dead end, and it literally for us was a dead end overnight. The announcement came, Eskom stabilized its electricity supply, and all of a sudden, how do we now attack a market that's been there for backup power, actually now to still invest into their business from an electricity perspective, and that was the biggest challenge. So it was a mindset change, it was a business strategy change, and for us that is where we said, okay, yeah, we need to stop, think, and then see how we're going to progress further.
So what was the starting point for you when we first engaged with you? What was for you the key thing that helped that process of changing the mindsets that you spoke about?
Yeah, and I think it was tied up in a bunch of smaller things. We spent a lot of one-on-one time with Ranja in the smaller groups, and I think that's where it started clicking. And once we got into the DAPA process, if I can basically, stipulate the process as is. But at the end of the day, we knew that we had to define a new need now, and that we had to bring a solution to that need. And it's the little sessions we had, the one-on-one sessions, of how that process will work, and literally dotting it down and taking it in and making it by heart. going out to a customer and coming with a solution. Consultative selling, for me, is probably the key 2 words that I carry by heart every morning when I get up. Consultative selling, and it's bringing a broader solution to a problem at the end of the day. And I think that is really what segregates us in the market at this stage.
I'm pleased to hear that. It's a difficult thing when you're approaching these massive, almost insurmountable challenges as they might seem at the time, and to come up with fresh new ideas that work.
Yeah.
You mentioned to us in the beginning that you had gone on sales training before. What was different about the Mercury process for you?
So for me, first of all, was the opportunity to have one-on-one time, the opportunity to act in smaller groups, and the opportunity, I think, that really stood out for me was to practice, was to exercise it. Normally when you go into a training of any sort, it's a lot of information being forced into you in a short period. Whereas with Mercury, we have time to make mistakes in the session, and we can sit and we can discuss and we can debate, which is except for having the training visually where we can get assisted on our mistakes immediately. For me, it was the fact that we could debate certain things. And, once that one-on-one conversations flow, the real training starts. And, for me personally, and I think for the team as well, that's when you remember stuff, is once you've debated it through, at the end of the day, whether you've proven your point or the trainer has given his point through, it's something that sticks with you. And the next time you go out into the field, you remember those debates, and it helps you to sell at the end of the day.
That's so true. So how's the team responded to the Mercury training so far?
Very, very well. I think we were fortunate to have hit a dead end, so I think it made us definitely more susceptible to the training at the end of the day. My team is very devoted to success. They want to achieve success, and it's not just for themselves but for the broader business as well. And they were open to getting the tools to start afresh and to prove that Rentec is a business unit that can grow substantially into the future.
Because I remember the demands on your business were quite significant at the time when we began.
Yeah.
So what has been the impact for your business since this journey began over a year ago?
Yeah, look, there's a couple of impacts. I think first of all, financially, our growth over the past year since we've started the process is probably around a 40% growth.
My goodness.
Yes, which for us is massive. We started on the back foot, so we first had to grow substantially only to get to a break-even perspective at the end of the day, and we've currently we are overachieving that. So we're not just making our targets, we're overachieving on our target. And at the end of the day, whether it's 100 Rand or 100,000 Rand, for us it's that, okay, this is working. And we know that there's still a lot that we should implement from what we've been trained on, and that shows me that there's a lot more growth in the future. Definitely something that we're still exercising, we're still spending time on our one-on-one coaching sessions. Again, crucial factors, and now we've proven that the proof is in the pudding, and it's been done. And from here, we're now just looking forward to grow further into the market. So yeah, very happy with it.
So you mentioned coaching. How is that working for you?
So coaching, I think, again, I'm a bit fortunate just from my management perspective. I don't believe in management, I believe in mentoring. So I don't act as a manager, it's my role, but I mentor my staff. And again, those little tips and tricks that we get through from spending time with your training consultants, with yourself, we pick up things and then we start mentoring and coaching. I think what stands out for me is, if you look at any employee, he's going to be at a certain category, and that's also something that Ranjay spent a lot of time on with me especially on that is, where do you want your staff? Do you want to supervise them? Do you want to coach them? Do you want to mentor them? And I've slowly seen my team going from that supervision into getting mentored, into getting coached. And that for me is absolutely crucial. You need to be independent at the end of the day, and more so in a sales role. We can't babysit and micromanage. And a big part of this training is to give that guy the confidence to say, okay, well, we've given you the tools and you just now need to expand, spread your wings and fly. And we're seeing it through all of my staff members, how they progressed from being supervised to actually going out there, which is hard for me sometimes to let go. And I think that is also a key training component of the Mercury training is to, managers has to let go at some stage. And the guys are actually blooming. So very, very happy with that.
So it sounds like it's made your job as a manager easier to an extent.
Yes.
What has been some of the major shifts for you as a manager in how you manage your team?
No, good question. I think on our side it's a broader spec. So we do EPC renewable energy. So there's a lot of micro divisions within the business unit. So we've got the projects, we've got the operations and the engineering, and then there's the sales component. So this has allowed me to actually now be able to spend time on my engineering department, spending time on site with projects. Quality control is a key factor. So knowing that the sales guys are out there and they are doing what they do best allows me to focus on other categories of the business, and that is a major key factor, especially like I said, where things get a bit more complicated than just your average A to B or A to C business. There's a lot of time that I have to spend on a lot of different places, and that's allowed me now to do that. So,
yes. And as you say, a lot more time to spend on the strategically important things related to management, which often gets neglected if you sucked into the day-to-day running of the business and the managing of people, where you are the sole custodian of their motivation, etc. When that's now being taken care of through their own self-confidence and their own growth, it allows you to focus on the stuff that really achieves the ambitions
100%.
Of the business.
Yes, definitely. No, 100%. New business development is key, and I personally believe that a business manager, that must be his core focus, is bringing in the next step, and like I said, the quality control of it at the end of the day. So that's really, for me, the time that I've got now is exceptional.
So what would you say are the 3 biggest learnings or takeaways you and your team have gotten from this process?
We're going to need a lot of time. It's a lot more than 3. I think back to the DAPA process, definitely for me a key factor is to have a process to follow, and a process that's adaptable. Out in the market, you never know what questions can come up and what gets thrown at you. And the DAPA process, for me, has played a crucial part in being adaptable to any situation. So that's definitely one that sticks out. I mentioned consultative selling, which for me is just opened a complete new world. Customers has 1 or 2 problems, and with consultative selling, you've got 100 ways of fixing it. Whether it's bringing money back into the business through renewable energy, or whether it's giving support on what the customers already have. That for me, that's really crucial. And I think the third part is definitely, like I said, opening the time for me. So the success of the Mercury course has provided me with time to invest into the business, and that's for me definitely the third item that really sticks out, which is something I thought would never happen. Your diary is full. You start Monday morning and it's full, and it's like sales, and that component of the business is flowing, and for me that plays a huge factor.
I'm so pleased to hear that. It makes a huge difference when there's an investment in people and it yields rewards.
Yes,
What case studies or war stories do you have to share of where the DAPA and the consultative selling process was applied and you got a win with a customer?
100%. I think I can throw a big one out there, and for us the Sea Harvest contract was a very important one. Starting a business afresh, you need to have those case studies to go to the next level and the next level, and your customer base that you attack in the market needs to get bigger and bigger with that. Otherwise, you're just going to be stagnant in the one category. And through the DAPA process, and I can throw some interesting statistics. So that deal took us 57 weeks to close. Yeah, and through that whole 57 weeks, we stuck to the DAPA process. And what's crucial for me is once you get to the PA stage, it's not a set in stone deal. That is where you actually now start spending the time. And we followed the process, and I flew to Cape Town four times, another 4 times. We sat with the customer, we went through the process again. We defined the needs further and deeper, but we still stuck with the process. And at the end of the day, it paid off, and hopefully we'll be establishing sites soon. So for me, that's a very good case study.
Congratulations.
No, thanks
May
so
it be
much.
a blueprint for more wins in the future.
Yes, definitely. No, definitely. It's a massive customer to be of service to. The complete group of that, and it's already opened other opportunities for us. And again, what happens when the DAPA process is complete and the sale is done, it's then that after sale service. Again, where I did not have the time, which I now have the time. And now we can actually farm on certain customers. And if you look at the industry term between hunting and farming, for our industry, farming should not be an option. But we've got customers now that, it's just expanding their portfolio. And that to me shows the customer is happy. He's happy with the product, with the service. And where did it all start? It started at the DA process, the consultative selling method, which we started off with. And it's just grown from there. So, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it works 100%, yeah.
So what's next for the Rentec business?
Growth. We're going to push very hard. So, we've in the meantime, we've interested with, we've got a roundtable meeting, which I'll be a representative from Rentec side with the Minister of Energy.
Okay.
Looking forward to that.
That's exciting.
It's very exciting, and we want to engage into the bigger platforms.
Yes.
And why? Because we have the confidence now to do that. A year back we would have said, what are we actually going to say on that table, and how are we going to actually bring something to the table to discuss? Whereas now we've got the confidence to do it. Fantastic. So for us, we want to grow. But we want to look at bigger opportunities, and we want to show the market, whether you've got a residential or whether you're a commercial farmer or when you're even a sea harvest, on that scale, we can assist and we can be of service. And we want to be, we would like to be, because we know we're bringing something to the table through consultative selling that other people don't. And long relationships, and I think that's the key for us, is to really grow those relationships. Build the trust, grow the relationship.
Yeah. I remember so fondly when we first engaged with you, you had this intrinsic belief in the business, in the products, in the services, and also the people behind the business. And now it seems to me that belief is overflowing through an increase in processes and in approach and how you're doing things. And now people are starting to stand up and take notice.
Yes.
And that's a really, really good thing for the business. I'm so pleased to hear that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Investing again just in people. Whether it's a junior sales or a senior engineer, at the end of the day, I want my staff to come to work. I want them to have something to test and to play with. Again, what the process is learn it, study it, exercise it, make it your own. And that's what my staff do at the end of the day. They come to work with a goal for the day. And whether it's meeting new clients, going to close that deal, or cold calling, which we haven't even touched on, that was a massive obstacle for guys to, if you've been farming for so long out of this customer base, all of a sudden going into the market with cold call, that's a different confidence level on its own that you need to adjust to. And no, hats off to my team; they've done really well in that.
Well, it's been a privilege working with you and your team thus far.
Yeah.
If you have any advice that you'd like to share with other managers, because I imagine, having walked the journey that you have, with the challenges that you were facing at the beginning and where you've ended up now and what the future looks like, there must be a lot of wisdom you have to share. So please use this platform to share some of your learnings as a manager for those that are willing to listen.
Thanks so much. No, it's true. It's hard lessons learned. And I think for me that really stands out at the end of the day. As a business manager, you need to be adaptable. you are going to hit that roadblock. And like myself, you're going to think this is the end. But there is always other ways to turn to. There is other solutions. And I think, one must not be too proud at the end of the day. You must look at other options. And for example, Mercury Training, and say, look, I can't do this on my own. And, as a business manager, you have that stress and you have that belief that the buck stops with me. And if I don't have the solution, then it's a dead end. But, swallow that pride, dig a bit deeper and reach out for help. Some of the best CEOs in the world still have their advisors. They're not the go-to for everything and everyone at the end of the day. They also reach out for help, and they have that advising roles in their life, and I think that's crucial. And then, like I say, be adaptable. If it stops here, find another route. There is always another route. And it doesn't matter what business you have, or what business, whether it's a product that you deliver or a service delivery, at the end of the day, you can alter your pathway. And if you don't know how, then reach out to those mentors and speak to them. And I think for me, that's the two items that stands out, yeah.
That's really good advice.
No, thanks.
Well, thank you for being such a fantastic custodian of best practice and helping that best practice turn into actual tangible results for your business. We're so pleased to see the progress you've made and the journey that you've embarked on.
No, thank you so
and
much.
I think there's more to come, so
Yeah,
I look forward
definitely.
to that.
Yes, definitely. No,
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks.